Yeah, I'm back. And I'm about to make this guy forget that he ever thought he could talk about something other than Pokemon. A little bit of a preamble here. This is unscripted. I needed to get a video out. The Raven video is coming. It's very interesting, but this is indeed unscripted, and I'm going to do basically a live reaction to it. I'm not a commentary channel. Like, don't expect I'm going to go into that and tear down videos I don't like. This is all in mad respect to Lockstin Gnoggin. I think they've done wonderful things for the Pokemon community. It's just that I don't fully agree with this video, and I haven't for a long time. I just think it falls flat, especially in the universe of F-Zero. So, I wanted to talk about something that I've been kind of into for the last couple of days. So, here we go. Yeah. So yeah, this is me right here, about to watch this video. Yes, this is mobile YouTube. This is my setup right now. Anyways, let's get into it, I guess. I've never done this before.
Captain Falcon, showing us his moves since 1990. Star of the popular franchise F-Zero. Nintendo, listen to me when I say it's popular, please. We really want a new one. However, these days, most people don't even know him because of his F-Zero game. Rather, they know him more thanks to... Admittedly, though, that is a lot cooler than... People seem to forget to root for our boy in blue, but what if I were to tell you that Captain Falcon isn't actually a captain at all, nor is he the super amazing hero that you know and love? That's right, Captain Falcon is... No. F-Zero is a lie.
So, before I go on with him talking about his theory, the fact that, like, he's like, oh, you know... Okay, let me just start over. He's really nice about, like, oh, yeah, like, F-Zero should get a new game. But then it's like he rags on, like, the inherent cheesy campiness of F-Zero GX, which, like, isn't a problem. I know that, like, for some people that isn't their thing and they don't like it. But I feel like for some, it's what they like about F-Zero. Like, you know, it's why F-Zero GX is my favorite. Is because of that. But, anyways... I gotta let the man talk, so let's let him talk.
Disclaimer! We're going to be looking at F-Zero GX for the majority of this theory. The anime and comics are generally considered to be non-canon by most. F-Zero GX is the most recent game, and that brings a tear to my eye. We all know and love Captain Falcon's over-the-top, insane moves. I mean, who yells their own moves before you land them? Or yells yes when they land a grapple? Even his taunts seem to be way over the top. Show me your moves is right. It's ridiculous. But what am I talking about here? A love story gone awry? No. An over-the-top, based on true events, action-packed adventure? No. I'm talking falsification to the first degree. This wascally wasting game is staged! That's right, you heard me. Fake, much like the WWE or other over-the-top sports entertainment.
So at this point, he's going to start talking about the WWE. I might skip it. Just cause I feel like we all know what the WWE is. Maybe not, you know. What I will say is, I feel like he doesn't understand the fictional science of F-Zero behind it to really, like, support his argument on, oh, F-Zero is staged like the WWE. Because if for F-Zero to be staged, and I'll go into this later. So I'm just saying, I don't think Lockstin or Gnoggin understands that F-Zero has a lot of working parts behind it that makes it F-Zero that don't fall flat once you go, oh, it's a staged production, and we'll get into that definitely.
For those of you who don't know what the WWE is or have never looked into the most American sport of wrestling, it is a television program that focuses on a group of changing actors who fight in a boxing arena for the championship. Sasha doesn't like it. But trust me, it's entertaining. It also spawned quite a few memes, so I'm sure most of you have at least heard about it. I mean, John Cena was in a Scooby-Doo episode of all things, so it's big.
Not to be nitpicky, that was a Scooby-Doo movie, not an episode. Just that's the scene from the WrestleMania movie, not from a Scooby-Doo episode.
But we all know it's fake, right? Right? Let me Google that real quick. Hang on. Yeah, it's fake. Just like I thought. Ha! Take that, Tyler from grade 7! I knew your dad was lying. But F-Zero can't be fake. It's a hyper-aggressive sport that follows the story of an over-the-top man overcoming all odds to win in the name of justice.
Correct. That's true. That's its story.
That was sarcasm. There's no way this could possibly be a true story. Much like in the real world's WWE, we see ridiculous stories that are almost too insane to be true. In fact, most of them are just plain impossible. Let's take a look at a few more iconic, infamous storylines in the World Wrestling Entertainment Empire. But wait! I'm sure a few of you looking on from the outside want to know how wrestling even has a storyline. Well, it does. You see, there's plenty to WWE other than the match or the fights. In fact, let's start with some more iconic storylines. Like, who could forget the one match with Vince and Shane facing the Heartbreak Kid and his partner, God? Yep. Big G himself showed up to help HBK in his historic matchup for the record books. Vince going as far as to go to church on Sunday just to claim that he's stronger than God. Another good one is when Kane fought Kane. Yep, himself. Now, that's a weird storyline that actually aired on pay-per-view. People paid for that one. Kane, during the course of a few matches, was haunted by a farmer version of himself that looked like his old masked getup. This would dawn until Kane beat himself and threw himself out of the ring. So, it's pretty over the top in terms of story. In the biz, it's known as story editing, or in layman terms, creating an interesting tale that will keep the audience's attention long enough for them to see commercials. Many shows are falling for this menace nowadays, but we're not here to talk about reality TV and the reality it lives in. We're here to talk video games, dang it! So much like how Super Mario Bros. 3 is confirmed to be a stage play, and how I have a theory about Super Mario Sunshine being a television show, F-Zero is possibly a entertainment program. Let's start off with saying how ridiculous F-Zero really is. And spoilers if you haven't played F-Zero GX. I mean, it's from 2003. You've had... Oh my god, it's been 15 years since it came out. I'm getting old. Oh no. So let's start our story before the events of F-Zero GX. The F-Zero, a play on words of our F1 or Formula 1 racing, was created by rich merchants so that they could swindle people out of money via gambling on the races. Eventually, this led up to the big grand finale crash, where 14 racers died, causing the Federation to ban the events.
I was going to bring that up earlier, but he said it himself. Yeah, 3 years before the events of F-Zero X, there's a crash that kills 14 racers, and the racer Mighty Gazelle goes from a human guy to a robot guy. But then he's gonna sit up here and go, oh, it's fake. They staged a wreck that killed... Well, I mean, like, even Captain Falcon got injured, and, like, part of his vehicle went missing, and some of his blood was left on whatever track it happened on. Because then that's how Blood Falcon was created. Like, does Gnoggin understand that it's a fantasy sci-fi universe? Because he talks about it like it's still the modern day. And it's not. You know, like does he know that, or is it just like to make his theory sound correct, he's just gonna say, it's staged like the WWE? Because like if it was modern day, yeah, it probably would have been staged, but like it's the future canonically in F-Zero from the first game, so I don't know why they would stage it, you know? Anyways.
Only after many safety regulations and bans on certain things was F-Zero allowed to take place once again. But unknown to many, there was an entire underground racing scene that had been going on. Now I know what you're thinking. How could it be fake or a produced show if people died? Wouldn't it get cancelled? And what about everyone who was involved in the grand finale crash? Well, the crash was a big and certainly devastating event that went on. But like pro wrestling, there are ways to cash in on those terrible events. Usually the go-to route is celebrating a character who's recovered from their injuries and get ready to push them into stardom. Like Super Arrow, the only surviving racer.
Wrong. There are two surviving racers of the F-Zero X crash. It's Super Arrow and Mighty Gazelle. Come on, bro. You're trying to make a theory about how F-Zero is fake, but you couldn't research enough of it to know that Mighty Gazelle is the other survivor. That's his whole character. Like, yeah, he's a robot now because of that crash. But see, I think he omitted it because he knew that if Mighty Gazelle, a character, you know, Super Arrow is human looking. I mean, Super Arrow has superpowers. But he's human looking. Mighty Gazelle is a robot. And so I think he omitted Mighty Gazelle, and this is just me talking. I think he omitted Mighty Gazelle because it would ruin his theory. It would, because it's like he's saying, oh, you know, you can cash in on tragedy. Here's Super Arrow, who's human looking. Then doesn't go, here's Mighty Gazelle, who's a whole robot. Yeah. Anyways.
However, there have been other characters who have suffered massive kayfabe. Kayfabe is a term where in professional wrestling the facts are presented as genuine or authentic. That's right, there is a whole term just for faking it in professional wrestling. Just let that sink in. Kayfabe, or fake injuries. Kane is the go-to example, since his face has been burned and he wears a mask now. Dashing Cody Rhodes once tried this gimmick when Rey Mysterio supposedly broke his nose. There's even a fan theory that Randy Orton punting Husky Harris in the head eventually led to him losing his mind and becoming the cult leader Bray Wyatt. But back to F-Zero GX's storyline, right off the bat, this game holds nothing back. A high-impact race with a saucy ending. We are introduced to a few characters. Black Shadow, the one with horns, and... what's that, Tyler? What was his name? The guy on the right. Deathborn. Yep, that's right. The Lord of Death himself. Practically Satan at this point. I mean, he's got lava in his secret base, and is described as evil incarnate. He's the Satan of this universe, and he's just racing. So,
hot take to anyone who is a fan of F-Zero GX's story, I actually never thought that Deathborn was supposed to be something evil incarnate from the underworld. But, like, later on in the story, when he says, oh, did you know that the underworld and the overworld have two racing GPs? Yeah, that they have two F-Zero GPs, and that if you put the belts together, it makes something super powerful. I didn't think Deathborn was talking about the actual underworld. I always thought, especially because the existence of an underground racing, it's racing. So like underground racing is always a thing. Always thought he was alluding to underground racing, which they just call the underworld, and then there happens to be lava there. I don't know, that's just me. Why would the underworld have a GP belt? Like the actual underworld have a GP belt for racing? if it's there. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But if we're talking about a racing underworld, yeah, he's from the racing underworld. That's just me, and that's a personal headcanon of mine. It might not be true. It might be true. It might not be true. But that's how I've seen it, like 100%.
Black Shadow gets forced into winning the Grand Prix, and later we learn that this is to get the belt of all good, so Lord D can merge it with his belt of all evil, and destroy the universe. Why the power of all good is the grand prize for a race is far beyond my comprehension. Also, Samurai Goro, which, by the way, what kind of bandit sets up races to steal from people? You have them at gun and sword point. Just take what you want. Sheesh. And
Okay, first about the champion belt. Yeah, I have no idea why that's in there. But for Goro, he doesn't rob everybody using a race. He was only robbing Captain Falcon because Captain Falcon is his rival. They're rivals. So he said, "Oh, okay, Captain Falcon, you took the prize money from us last time. We're gonna race now." He doesn't just, that's not his motive with everybody. Okay? That's what he did specifically to Falcon because of his relationship with Captain Falcon. It's not, come on, bro. Legit. Like, it's not even like he watched the story cutscenes, I guess. It's like someone just told him about it. And he said, "Oh, this sounds fake." Anyways, let's keep going.
also, when he gets put into the race, why does he need a disguise? Who needs a mask for their mask?
Captain Falcon needed the disguise so then he could give Silver Nielsen the prize money, because Silver Nielsen asked Captain Falcon to race for him, but if Captain Falcon was racing, it would like kind of throw it off, because I don't think Captain Falcon was registered for that event. So Silver Nielsen said, "Here, go under a disguise, that way no one knows you're Captain Falcon." I understand that Captain Falcon's helmet is indeed something that obscures his face. It's on purpose because he's a bounty hunter. People recognize the helmet, and the getup. That's why he needed a disguise, was because he wasn't racing for himself. I don't think he was signed up for it, so they would have been like, "Whoa, what the heck is Captain Falcon doing here?" And if they weren't like that, they'd be like, "Hey guys, place bets on Captain Falcon, instead of the mystery character that Silver made up for Captain Falcon." I'm just saying, did you watch the cutscenes, or did someone tell this to you and you just took them at face value? Because it looks like you just watched the cutscenes and then was all like, "Well, that's weird." Well, no, it doesn't look like you watched the cutscenes. Ignore that last part. It looks like somebody told you everything that was happening with like the TV on mute, and you just went, "Well, that's weird," and it's not weird. You're just not paying attention.
And on that point, also, all of the actors, or racers, move in a very exaggerated manner, which is common for actors of live performances such as plays, or you guessed it, stage events.
They're acting exaggerated because that's how they animated the game. That's how the game was animated. That's why they're acting exaggerated, because that's how the game was animated. That's how they animated the game. Like, the animation is okay, but it's like, yeah, that's just how they animated it. It was 2003. Like, what did you expect them to do? It's not... That story is already silly and, like, cheesy and campy on its own, but then for you to sit here and be like, "Oh, they act like actors in a live performance." No, they don't. That's just how the game was animated. So it's gonna look like that. Like... It's picking on the most, like, minuscule details to go, "Whoa, this is weird." It's not weird. It's not. It's not weird. You have to take in what's meta and what's canonical. That's obviously not canonical. That's meta. That's just how they animated the game. All right. I'll try and let him talk for a little bit, because this is crazy.
Like the WWE. And I'm not saying blowing up a city and making citizens evacuate is a normal action for a racer or WWE star, but I'm pretty sure that's an offense that you can get arrested for. It's as if the authorities went, oh yeah, Black Shadow's throwing another tantrum and killing cities worth of people. Better just give him some space.
It is never implied that they did that at all. When that mission starts up, Captain Falcon happens upon, it's like, everyone evacuate the electric district, because like the electric district is under attack. And so everyone was being told to evacuate. That's why literally the only people that were in the electric district were John Tanaka, Jody Summer, and then Captain Falcon to go get Jody. Or, I think John was outside of the city. And he was like, but Jody's still in there. So that's why the only person who was in there was Jody, because she got attacked or something. But it wasn't, it was never how he described it, is what I'm getting at. That's not how they treated that event at all. It was a genuine attack on the city. And it's telegraphed that way through the story.
This whole plot is insane. Captain Falcon even fights his evil clone, the Blood Falcon. That's a straight up daytime television trope.
He talked about that F-Zero crash. He talked about it and said how, oh yeah, they could cash on tragedies. I said this earlier, but Captain Falcon was also injured in that tragedy, and Blood Falcon is his literal genetic copy from his blood that was left on the track after that crash. It isn't just a daytime television gimmick. It's explained in universe because this is also in the future, so they can clone people like that. I feel like he lacks a suspension of disbelief when it comes to what happens in the universe, because I think he's still thinking about this in like the modern day perspective, where yeah, we can't race cars that go 800 miles per hour in like 3 seconds. But it's like, it's the future, so they're able to do stuff like that. That's just a fact, you know?
The situations these racers are put into are also extremely over the top. Take, for example, the scene where Captain Falcon's car has a bomb on it, and he can't just stop it or run away. He obviously has enough time to drive down a track and maybe possibly slightly hit it off with a crane, though. But no, if you go too slow, you'll explode. Reminds me of something.
Okay, yeah, the speed movie gimmick race in GX is the weakest part of the entire story. But that's Captain Falcon's, like, one transportation, even when it comes to racing. Which, yeah, it doesn't make sense, but it's like, a car that's that robust, you don't just go, oh, there's a bomb on it, I gotta leave. That would be like owning a Lamborghini and going, dang, bro, someone put a bomb on my Lamborghini and I gotta drive fast, I gotta drive fast enough to get somewhere where I can get it knocked off. Also, he says the track was just happened to be set up in a way. Did he not see that he happens to, like, no, he makes it sound like the track just happened to have a crane there. Does he not see that Captain Falcon tears through construction signs? It was being worked on. So of course a crane was there, because it was nighttime, they're not working. But then of course a crane was there. And yeah, right trajectory, he was able to hit it, which is like, movie magic, video game magic. It's a part of the game, to keep the story going. But it's like, he's not a normal guy, I guess. So he's not just gonna go, there's a bomb on that car, I gotta leave. That's what I'm saying.
Plus, there are some major issues with his character. Like, he's completely unable to turn down a challenge. That is a character flaw you got there, buddy. If you can't turn down challenges, you probably should talk to a life coach. Get a therapist, bud. You need it.
Where did GX say that? And where did it say that he couldn't turn down a challenge? Are you saying when Goro held him at sword point and said, oh yeah, we're gonna race, he kinda had to? Or unless you're saying at the end of the game where the makers of the universe said, alright, we're gonna take your body, he kinda had to. Where did he get, like, I'm actually confused. Where did he get the information that Captain Falcon can't turn down a challenge? That's never been established. What is he talking about? Every time a challenge has come, the only challenge that comes to him of his own accord is, I guess, the Deathborn race. That's it. All the other ones are against his will. So you can't sit here and tell me that he can't refuse a challenge. Where, actually, like, if anyone knows in the comments where he got the, oh, he can't refuse a challenge from, please let me know. Because it's like, at least the instances in GX, which is the game he's supposed to be getting information from, except for maybe one, all the other times it was against his will. He didn't want to do it, but he did, because he's a good person.
You thought this was a good pose for your amiibo. And even then, the story continues after he defeats Deathborn. It turns out the belt was never just the power of all good, rather it was all-powerful. It contained the creators of the universe. Yep, literally the three gods of the universe. And what do these gods do once they're let out of the belt? They challenge Captain Falcon to a race.
It wasn't just a race, they were challenging him because they're like, now that you have this belt, we're going to inhabit your body. That's why he races. That's just all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. We're this close to being done. I'm this close. I can do this. Oh.
Because they want to mess with his soul a bit, and apparently that's because he unified them? I'm not really following, but Captain Falcon sure is. He immediately puts two and two together and realizes that they were behind all of this. He also trash talks the gods really poorly.
Come off it. You think you can beat me? No way!
And just like
That was just a part of the game, man. That's just what they had him say. I was saying, you have to put things in two camps. You have to put it in the meta and then the canonicity or the reality of the game. He just said that because they wrote his dialogue like that. Is it very Captain Falcon-y? Not really, but it's like, it's these random creators of the universe. He might go, yeah, y'all don't know how to race an F-Zero machine? Like, what are you even talking about? It would be like, I don't know. It would be like some random tech guy going, I'm gonna race an F1 racer. Of course the F1 racer's gonna be like, I'm gonna race an F1 racer, I'm gonna take a job. Of course the F1 racer's gonna be like, dude, you don't know how to race an F, like, you really think you can beat me? You don't know how to race an F1 car. It's kind of the same concept here.
like in wrestling, there's always someone bigger and badder to wrestle. Just like Dragon Ball. Is wrestling just American anime? But let's get back to some other key points. These races are insanely difficult and require intense precision and skill to drive through, let alone win. Yet, all of the characters are rock stars, fashion models, scientists, wacky dudes.
Correct, because racing isn't the only thing you do. F1 racers don't race 24/7. They race the races that they race, and it's like, yeah, when they're not racing, they might play golf or something. Also, Super Arrow's not a rock star. Jack Levin is, not Super Arrow. It's just that's just his character profile. It's just like his racer, it's like his racer animation, but it's not canon. It's just him playing guitar. Like, you have to read up on this stuff. But it's like, yeah, a racer in real life doesn't race 24/7, so you can't expect these people to as well. Especially with the payout, like if you're not getting first, second, or third, and depending on how much people bet on you, because F-Zero was made by not just rich merchants, they were crooked merchants, and so it's kind of implied that, yeah, the betting aspect is like in full force. So depending on how much you make in a race on a weekend doesn't necessarily constitute how much you're bringing home. So then, yeah, they do have to do something extra on the side, or it's like they already had money, you know. Either way, it isn't suspicious that characters do other jobs outside of racing, because that isn't, it's the same as real life. Racers do other, not saying that all racers do, but it's believable that, yeah, they might go and do something else when they're not racing, because they're not racing. Even if it maybe isn't a job, it's something that's other than racing, because they don't just race all the time. That's the truth, you know? Sponsors don't exist in F-Zero racing, so characters don't automatically get paid for just racing in a race. At least it's implied that there aren't sponsors. There might be, but it's implied that there aren't sponsors, and so no one gets outright paid concretely. So of course characters will have different jobs, but it also adds to the personality of the characters. It's just an aspect of world building that you have to catch up on to understand that it doesn't make F-Zero fake, it actually makes it more real. Yeah, it's what it does.
Get the idea. They all seem to have real time-intensive jobs. Or, well, most of them. I'm pretty sure Robot and Lizard Man aren't jobs. And 3 of them are just straight-up rip-offs of Star Fox. I mean, James McCloud, that's Fox's dad. This guy's dressing up as Fox's dad. And we all know that James is dead. That's why Fox had to take up the mantle of Star Fox. So this guy must be a actor.
No, he's not dressing up as Fox's dad. In the F-Zero universe, he is a man named James McCloud, has a loving wife and a kid, and he does all of this to take care of them. Canonically a different character, but he carries the same name in reference to James McCloud from Star Fox. He's not the same character. It's been kind of referenced, but it's not the same guy.
Fun fact, at the end of Star Fox Command, Fox and Falco become G-Zero racers. But it's common in WWE to mimic or have people who are super popular. I'm sure we all remember when Donald Trump went into the ring to take out Vance, and then shave him. Yep, that really happened. Another selling point is that almost all of them are ripped. And I mean insanely ripped. There are a few exceptions to this. Cliches like super smart people are not super ripped, and there's always the cliche fat guy. Also, it's hard to be ripped when you're half a cyborg or just literally a robot. But like many wrestlers, these racers need to be physically fit, or at least look the part of being strong, unlike how real-world race car drivers look. They just look like dudes. Because actually, in real-world race car driving, smaller people tend to be better because that means less weight in the car, thus faster speeds.
I guess this is actually headcanon, but I think the reasoning for characters being super ripped or even not even, or as big as like Dr. Zero, is the fact that those cars go like 800 miles per hour. They're probably way lighter than even F1 vehicles, so I think the weight of the driver actually goes into account of maybe keeping the vehicle itself grounded. You can see how they fly off in F-Zero X and F-Zero GX. They're really light when it compared to even F-Zero F1 cars. So, in the same vein, yeah, they might not be stick thin because that means their vehicle might not have like weight. Also, Drek isn't half a cyborg, that's just what he wears. He's an alien. He's not half a cyborg. It's just what he wears. Anyways, it's like, maybe that doesn't go for all the characters, you know? But it's like, it also could be said that, like, yeah, maybe Jody or Mrs. Arrow or Kid Allen have slightly heavier cars, you know? But it's like, yeah, Captain Falcon might be able to keep his machine on the track because of his muscular weight, and same for a lot of the characters. Also, it's not F1, it's called F-Zero, it's a different thing. They might have certain weight like regulation standards, but it's not like F1 has weight regulation standards. It doesn't. So that means that F-Zero could also have the same sort of leniency. That's what I'm saying. You have to take things in its canon context, and you can't just go, well, this wouldn't make sense in real life, right? Because it's not. because they're basically, I've heard them described to be weighted spaceships is what they drive. You need enough weight to keep your car on the track. And also, they're going like 800, 900, 1,000 miles per hour. Their weight in the seat might not even matter that much. Anyways, let me let this guy finish.
And it isn't just their bodies that are odd, it's their whole costume, their whole getup. If we take a look at a lot of their special ending scenes, there are plenty of people who dress like normal humans. No crazy collars or insanely skimpy thongs. And even then, when we do see people in the background, it's almost always just the other racers attempting to be normal citizens. The first time I ever played this game, I thought everyone was just a crazy person that wore costumes, but it's just the other actors, probably, due to budget limitations. I mean, it's not normal to be in spandex on the street unless you're a superhero. And even the superhero we get in the game is actually just an actor, as we see in this end scene.
1. He lies. You can obviously see in that first cutscene, there are people wearing normal clothes. 2. This is where we look at things in the meta and canonical context. Meta-wise, they said, well, let's put the racers in their outfits so they're easily distinguishable. Doesn't mean that they don't wear normal outfits when out and about, but it's how they set up. It's how they set up the game in the meta context. Also, Beastman isn't an actor. He actually had a real-life run-in with a crocodile and almost died. That's why he became Beastman, and that's why he tames beasts. That ending isn't canon, and I don't even think, I'll have to watch it, but I don't even think it implies that he is an actor. Like I said, it's like research and paying attention and being able to distinguish what was the developer intent or what was the story intent of the game.
And that's another thing. Some of the racers' jobs or origins are pretty out there. I know one of them is a time detective that was sent to the past to prevent some horrible disaster, and yet he's just racing around real fast. One of them is a superhero and his wife, who are there to beat their arch enemy, Zoda. And in the ending, they are signing autographs for kids.
Okay, I think it's implied that Apollo is racing because the great tragedy is linked to F-Zero. That might not be true, that might not be true, that might just me filling in blanks, but I'm pretty sure he's racing because it's connected to F-Zero. 2, everyone signs autographs. And what's wrong if you're a superhero and you sign an autograph? What is that? How does that make them not a superhero? Like, everyone, but he wasn't paying attention enough to realize that whenever that prompt comes up after you win a Grand Prix, or the highest level of Grand Prix in F-Zero GX, everyone signs an autograph, not just Super Arrow and Mrs. Arrow. If you just watch this video out of context, you would think the things that he was giving you were completely factual. That's not true. Everyone signs an autograph in the game. Because the racers, and they just, in that context of that scene, they just won the Grand Prix. Of course, people want their autograph. That's the point. It doesn't make them not superheroes because they signed an autograph after winning a race. It doesn't. That's just what's true about it. I don't know what to tell you.
And that's not even the half of it. One is a skeleton. That's it. He's just a dead guy brought back to life to race. These all seem a little out of the ordinary, to say the least. And we all know that wrestlers are not the best actors. Some of them are pretty good at acting, but let's be honest, those are a diamond in the rough these days, or should I say a rock in the rough. And hands down, legitimately, in every single cutscene, the acting is beyond terrible. Literally take any scene of Captain Falcon talking or doing any action, and you will see what I mean.
Your best creation?
You see what I mean?
Not if I can help it. I'll destroy you yet. Let's go.
Also, some...
The acting is like that because in a meta context, that's how they wanted things to be animated. That's not in-universe justification for if it's fake like WWE or not. That's not how it works. It's not how it works, dude. It's how they wanted it animated. That's why he acts like that. Also, you have to take in voice acting. Voice acting is very campy and cheesy. Hey, where do you think you're taking me? Yeah, it's bad, but it's bad in the context of it being a game in 2003, not in the context of them faking F-Zero racing as a whole. This is not true.
Some of the actions they do are just unreal. In the ending scene of Captain Falcon's campaign mode, you see him jumping out of his car to save a baby by leaping in front of a speeding train! You know what all of this reminds me of? Japanese superheroes. The Kamen Riders, the Super Sentais of Japan. Power Rangers stuff, pretty much. It's all over the top and ridiculous, but it gets the kids more into it. It's easier to understand what they're doing when everything is exaggerated. It gets the kids more involved.
Okay. Captain Falcon's ending could possibly be non-canon. A lot of the character endings either look like drug trips or they're just non-canon instances in their life. So you can't take that and go, look at Captain Falcon acting like a tokusatsu hero. And two, the actions of tokusatsu might have inspired the animators on how to animate the characters. That might have been true, but it's in a meta context and not a canonical context.
And just to put the nail on the coffin, check out the special ending of Black Shadow's campaign. We see that it is in fact just a show, and Black Shadow and Lord Death are actors, as here they are, in a blooper reel.
You know, you could have just opened the video with that and called it a day. No need to waste everyone's time.
But where's the fun in that? Anyway, so all the characters are over the top. The acting is over the top. The races are over the top. And really, it's also obviously unbelievable. Just like many various things from the like of sports entertainment. Fake entirely, but fun and entertaining for a certain audience. So take what you want from this theory. I haven't done an F-Zero theory before, and I felt like we all needed to remember Captain Falcon for what he was, and not what he is now. And that is a fake TV celebrity.
That's a horrible ending. Man, that's... What? Remember him for who he truly is, a fake TV celebrity? Are you serious? It's the worst thing I've ever seen. And it truly is. Oh, using Black Shadow's ending as the final nail in the coffin, his ending's non-canon. That's like saying the bloopers in old Pixar movies are real. And like, you know, that the movies didn't happen in universe, which isn't true, because it's like if Toy Story 2 had a blooper reel and Toy Story 2 was just acting. Well, I mean, arguably, like, most of these theories fall flat. Because, and you know what, this is my last little bit, is that you have to take things in a canonical and a non-canonical context. You can't just go, well, this seems fake, so I'm gonna say it's fake. You can't do that. When it comes to video games and media, is you have to take things in what's happening in universe. Crazy things happen in universe in F-Zero. It's the nature of its world and characters and story. So of course it's gonna seem unlikely to you, someone sitting in the modern day, but since F-Zero is set in the future, it's supposed to hold a little bit of a suspension of disbelief for you to understand what's going on, and he just doesn't do that, and he instead reads things flat out like it's the truth. And then for people who have never played F-Zero GX or know anything about the story, this is a sound theory to them because he's neglecting information. Can't make a good theory that way. Anyways, yeah. One little quick thing before I sign off. So Lockstin and Noggin, still great people, and I would recommend you go watch the video without all the cuts and pauses. It's still a good and entertaining video, even if I don't agree with the overall theory. I won't knock it. I won't say it's a terribly made video. What I will say is it's just falls flat in the regard that he reads everything like it's real, and you have to be able to say that, yeah, no, Black Shadow's ending doesn't necessarily mean it's a TV show. That's just the animators wanted to do a funny boober reel, you know? So you have to be able to take things with a grain of salt and have that suspension of disbelief to make theories like this. And theories like this will also fall flat because he's not giving the audience all the information you need to understand what's going on. He's just force-feeding you what he wants you to know, and then from there makes his theory sound way more valid than it actually truly is. It's a shame. I mean, yeah, so I've been thinking about F-Zero for the past day or two. Tekken video is about Raven. Little sneak peek. Yeah, I'll play a little sneak peek act for it, but basically, it's about how Raven, it's about how Raven isn't popular anymore. And not that he isn't popular, he isn't cool anymore. They've added so many characters in the Tekken games that make Raven like a little baby in comparison to, you know, Victor and Master Raven. Especially Victor. Even though I love Victor, he took my little boy's spotlight away. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, as nitpicky and kind of ticked off as I am. And I hope you enjoy your Twilight, or Dusk, Dawn, Twilight. And stay tuned for more from me, because I am Mo Fubuki. Oh yeah, Tekken 7. Can't wait to where the heck is Raven? Where where is this dude? Where is he? I want Raven. Wait. Hold up. Who is that? Master Raven. This isn't the guy I wanted to see. I still want Raven.